Salam students, it is our second lecture concerning Greek mythology in the course of BS English semester 2. In this lecture we are going to have an introduction about Homer and hymns, Homeric hymns. The lecture is divided into two parts. This is part 1 of lecture 2. In this part we are going to have an introduction about Homer and what is his contribution regarding Greek literature. So now we start Homer. When the name Homer comes to our mind, our thought shifts to his two great works, Iliad and Odyssey. Iliad and Odyssey are the very first epic poems that are part of the classic literature. So, although it is a part of Greek classic literature, but also it is the model on which other epics were made. For example, if we come from Greek, then there became the Roman literature. Romans also imitated the works of Homer, and also when we come into English literature, then they wrote the poetry on the model of Homer. So Homer is the base of all classic epics. So the first thing that comes to our mind when we look at the name Homer, that is, he is the writer of Iliad and Odyssey, semi-legendary writer. So it is the place of this author. To have because Homer there is no written records about the life of Homer, but according to different writings of other Greek scholars of the ancient times and Roman scholars, so all get together, we can have an assessment how Homer led his life, who was he. So a very simple record of his life can be seen in a book, the best known ancient biography, that is Life of Homer. This is a book through which we can have a view of life of Homer. If he is a Greek writer, famous playwright, he claimed to be Euphus is the name of place that is claimed to be the birthplace of Homer. When we study the life of Homer, the birthplace is Euphus. Some other scholars are of the view that according to hymn to Apollo, that is a very old record of the Greek literature. According to that hymn, it is said that he was a blind man. He was a blind man and he was like a bard. He was a churchman and he begged from the people. And he lived in the island of Chios. Chios in the olden times was guild of poets. At this time and in the age of Homer, Chios is a place where different kind of poets, bards, educated people lived there, and he was also a part of that society. Chios guild of poets, rhapsodies, small epic poems. The orators of small epic poems were known as rhapsodies, called Homeridial and etc. So Chios is the place which was the center of all literary activity, songs, hymns, poems, poets. It is the place of poets. From the known record of the biography of Homer, it is said that he was a bard that begged in 7 towns, 7 wealthy towns. He went into the towns and begged money and used to have his bread. He lived and worked in Ionia, west coast of Turkey. Then in later part of life he was shifted to Ionia. Ionia is also place. Homeric verses. Homeric verses were first set down in writing around 700 BC. Before the birth of Christ, 700 years before the birth of Christ, Greek alphabets were created and they came to be used in writing. So soon after the creation of alphabets, the works of Homer were written down. His hymns were written down. His Iliad and Odyssey were written down. So it was done in 700 BC. Homeric verses were first set down in writing around 700 BC. Soon after, Greek invented their own alphabets. So these verses are probably significantly older. Some people say that Homer existed around 1000 years before Christ, or some people say that he existed 1500 years ago before the birth of Christ. There are different kind of accounts that that are described about the age of Homer. So probably he was 1000 years before the Christ. Contribution. What Homer contributed in Greek literature? Pertaining to the culture, pertaining to the traditions, pertaining to the way of life, pertaining to the beliefs of Greek people, if we want to know about them, the Homer's writings are reflective of his society of that time. So what he contributed pertaining to Greek literature is given down. He contributed common set of values enshrining Greek's own ideology. Through his writing, through his hymns, through his epic poems, we come to know the ideology of Greek people of Homer time. Second thing, fixed model of heroism, nobility, good life, that can also be judged through his writings. So what sort of hero should be? What qualities a hero must possess? What is nobility? What are their traits that differ them from the common people? Again, there is good life. His writings are reflective of aristocratic way of life. How the civilized people, the educated people of that time, the ruling society of that time led their life. And it is a role model for, it was a role model for the common people. Third point is, in his writing, disgrace to honor is worst. If someone is respected and honorable and he is humiliated, he has to meet with disgrace. So it was a very shameful act, a very ignominious act in the eyes of Homer or the people of Homer's time. That can happen to a hero. Disgrace to honor is worst that can happen to a hero, and it may also happen to a hero also. Portrayal of gods for comic relief. in his writing we see that when some serious incident is taking place. For example, we see epic poem Iliad. There is a battle between Troy and other states of Greece, and because this is a very serious event, in order to create some kind of comicality, laughter, gods are introduced within this battle. So epic machinery is introduced in the battle. So this is the some of the contribution that is made by Homer in his writings. So we start with the Homeric hymns. What are they? Collection of 30 through anonymous ancient Greek hymns celebrating individual gods. As you know that hymn mean praise poem, the poem that is said in the praise of some deity, god, gods, goddesses. So hymns is a praise poem. So there are 33 praise poems that are attributed to Homer, that are addressed to different gods. They are Homeric. They are Homeric in the sense that they can employ the same epic meter, dactylic hexameter. One of the reasons why these hymns are called Homeric is pertains to the structure of these hymns, because all these hymns are based on the structure of epic, on the same formula, on the same pattern on which Iliad and Odyssey are written. That's why these hymns are attributed as Homeric hymns. They are Homeric in the sense that they employ the same epic meter, dactylic hexameter. A.W. Averill, a very famous critic, noted in 1894, that is to say, in one of his interviews, he says that it has come down labeled as Homer from earliest times of Greek book literature. Another reason why the hymns are called Homeric, because from the very ancient times, from the beginning of the study of literature, they are consistently being called as Homeric. So that's why they are called Homeric hymns. It has come down labeled as Homer from earliest times of Greek book literature. So these are two prominent reasons. That's why they are called Homeric hymns. Now we come to the history of these hymns. These hymns are written in 7th century BC, somewhat later than Hesiod. As in the early part of the lecture, we have known the fact that Greek alphabets were introduced, were first time written 700 years before the birth of Christ, and from that time all the oral literature that are being sung, being told in the form of legends, in the form of poems, was written down into Greek alphabets. For the first time in the 17th century, the literature was started to be written down in the form of language, proper language. So the history of Homeric hymns is also like this, written in 7th century BC, somewhat later than Hesiod. Hesiod is also one of the important personality that also named along with Homer. Oldest monuments of Greek literature, most of them were composed in 7th and 6th centuries BC, a few may be Hellenistic. So another information here I want to introduce you with is that all the Greek literature that we see was started to be written down after 7th century and 6th century BC. Although some very few part of literature is seem to be Hellenistic, that prehistoric, pre-classic literature. Pre-classic literature is literature that is probably written 1000 years before the birth of Christ, Hellenistic age. So a very few ignorable part of Greek literature is said to be Hellenistic pre-classic age, before the age of Homer. Structure. What is the structure of these hymns? Now we come to the structure of Homeric hymns. Vary widely in length. Some hymns are very long, some hymns are very short, some being as brief as 3 or 4 lines, and some may comprise of 700 lines, 600 lines, 500 lines. So the hymns vary in size. First, we will look on to the long ones. In the long hymns, there is invocation, there is praise, there is narrative in those hymns. The hymns that are long, there might be an incident of invocation of some muse, there is praise of some goddess, or some story or narration is being described in those kinds of hymns. And sometimes pre-existing disparate materials, and it contains different kind of material. It may be accumulation of 2 or 3 kind of poems made into one. So long ones, hymns are like this. Now we come to brief ones. Brief ones, narrative is lacking. In the brief hymns, there is no narrative, there is no invocation, there is no praise of some goddess or god. Narrative is lacking in these sort of poems. So this is very important thing. There is no narrative in brief one poems. Now we come to Homeric hymns. As we have earlier seen that Homeric hymns now I want to some at least of shorter ones may be, except that I have omitted the narrative central section. So Homer hymns, as I have described earlier, is that has 33 anonymous hymns. These hymns are addressed mostly to the most famous gods. As in the first lecture, we have introduction about different kind of gods that Greek people believed in. Here are in the hymns, there are major bulk of this writing is about Olympian gods. I mentioned in the earlier lecture that there was different categories of gods: Cyclops, Titans, Olympians, Hackneyton, Cheers. These kind of gods are a part of Greek mythology. But here in these hymns, a great bulk of this work is attributed to Olympian gods. So, two hymns are part of our syllabus also. One is hymn to Apollo, and second is a hymn to Aphrodite. Here I have mentioned some of the hymns that are attributed to Homer. First is to Dionysus, it comprises of 21 lines. Second is to Demeter, that is a goddess, it have 495 lines. Then is to Apollo, 6 lines, and then is to Hermes, 580 lines, and then to Aphrodite, 293 lines, and so long and so forth. This comes down until the very last of the hymn is to Dioscuri. It comprises only 19 lines. So, students, the second part of our lecture is completed here. I hope that you would have learned something about Homeric hymns, and I think that you have some knowledge and are able to answer and reply any questions pertaining to Homer and Homeric hymns.